Flamenco. Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho.
Hi.
We're on In the Neighborhood today. Today we have a special crew. We have the Peoria Humane Society here today.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like dogs?
Yes.
Do you like cats?
Of course.
Penguins?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't think they have.
I just haven't owned a penguin.
Yeah, that would
owned
be,
the
that
others.
would be a lot of fun, especially in the winter. Today, we're going to talk with them and go through the great things that they do here at the Humane Society. And wanted to also tell you that we are going to be doing the St. Jude's Run this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to be doing it. You're trying to talk me into doing it.
Why not run if you're going to be doing it?
But we're going to be filming and streaming it live. But we're also doing a session every month that highlights what St. Jude's is and all the great things that they do. Matter of fact, we're doing a double show today. So
okay.
A little bit later on, we're going to be talking with Molly and Amber from St. Jude Runs and all the great things that they do. Monthly shows will be at the race event, and our next show is going to be that. So stay tuned. Humane Society coming up.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts, Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together, they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
Yanko, welcome Kitty, and Brittany Barnes. Welcome.
Welcome.
So what's going on? What do you guys do?
Well, we do a variety of things, but our mission is inspiring or helping people to help animals. And the beauty of the Peoria Humane Society is everything that we do to help animals and people is local. It's right here in Peoria, and I think that's part of what you guys are really about too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And who do you have here with you today?
This pretty girl's name is Prima, and she was actually found as a stray here in Peoria and brought into the shelter. So Peoria shelter is called PCAPS, but they are right next door to us. And so their mission, of course, is to house animals and find new homes for them and help them when they need to.
She's probably getting tired of sitting there,
She
huh?
is. She's been doing really well, but she's only a year old.
Really?
Yeah, so she's a pretty young cat, and I'm just thankful that she got to the shelter so that she could, be safe and find a good home.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I want to spend my time playing with the cat. It's.
You can't bring out your laser.
I guess I would be.
No lasers.
I'm a little
She'd
bit
be
more
over there.
of a dog person than a cat person, but love all animals, big and small.
Well,
so
we appreciate that.
no penguins though.
I don't have any experience with penguins. I don't know about you, Brittany.
I love them, but I don't think they make the best house pets.
Right.
So you guys only do house pets?
No, actually the shelter does house anything and everything. They're an open admission shelter, so that means that literally anything that comes to the doors will come in.
Such as?
Well, over the years, that's included a lot of things. We've actually had a pelican. It was, not a penguin, but a wild pelican. Ended up going to a rescue down south. I've seen caiman, which are small alligators. Had lots of, large snakes like boa constrictors and pythons. We've had, wild animals, any kind of common indigenous wild animal, including skunks and raccoons and possums and, of course, birds and deer and all that. Gosh, I'm trying to think. You were in the shelter for a while. Where's some of the other unique?
The strangest thing I saw was the alligator.
Yeah.
And it was decently sized, if I remember right. But yeah, we don't adopt those kinds of things out.
That's probably good.
Yeah, we send those, to various rescues and rehabilitators to get them back in their natural habitat. But, in the meantime, to keep them safe and out of the bad situation that they're in, the shelter will house them for a bit. So,
So,
because you said that they're bringing in raccoons and deer and stuff. So when they're hurt, or why would? Okay.
Yes, that's a very good question.
So I was like, why are they bringing you the animals that are
next step?
and I'm confused.
Yeah, no, it's considered a rehabilitation situation.
Okay.
So the animal's injured, hurt, it's been displaced, it's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Possibly it could be posing a threat to a human.
Okay.
So if they get in the dwelling of a home, then that's when an officer would be called.
So if we find a raccoon in our house or a snake, then we call you guys. That's what I was supposed to call when I had the snake.
It gets a little tricky because people, like will call when it's on the roof or it's gotten, into some part of the house, but it literally has to be inside the dwelling of the home for the officers. There are organizations that help with that. There's a nuisance control, but it is something that you would be paying for privately as a citizen. So, I'm glad that you said that, because we definitely don't want to promote people bringing a raccoon in as a pet or, really any wild animal. And actually, all kidding aside, they're protected by state and federal laws. So you really are not supposed to be housing any wild animal unless you're licensed by the state or, to house them and to rehabilitate them. But the goal is always to get them back in the wild if they can be. And if not, then we have people that will, keep them, again, under the license of their rehabilitator permit. Yep.
Interesting. I had I used to deliver furniture a long time ago, and we delivered to this house, but it wasn't a normal house. It looked kind of like an abandoned house when we got there, but they had pets, but they weren't pets. There were people that had taken in exotic animals and not necessarily legally.
Right.
And so this was a rescue where people could actually bring those. So they had tigers, they had leopard.
Is that here in Peoria?
No, it was up in Chicago.
I was going to say,
But
still, probably yeah.
Yeah, and so they would be the rescue that would come in and bring them in. It wasn't a zoo or anything like
Right.
that, but yeah, pretty
It
wild.
gets a little tricky. Some of those rescues can get into trouble because they house more than they should and
Yeah.
don't have the proper permits, and it's complicated. So we always tell people, contact your local, official and find out, what you are allowed to have and not have. I mean, on a separate note, here in Peoria, we've had people with mountain lions and bobcats in apartments. And keeping them, as pets
Wow.
until they got to the point where they were too big, and then of course it became a threat and a
Where
problem.
they start biting and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Their arm off.
yeah.
yeah, so don't really recommend
Oh my
that.
goodness.
So what's the real purpose behind the Humane Society?
I'm going to let you answer.
You're going to give me that one?
Well,
okay.
just get you talking too.
We have a whole lot of programs. Basically, our main focus is to support the animals in need in the Peoria area. That includes the animals that are in the PCAP shelter, which is the county-run shelter here in Peoria. They are the open admission shelter, so they're very busy. And the Humane Society can step in when they are overworked and help promote some of the animals. Like bringing Prima here today. We're not tied down to actually having to care for, the day-to-day care for the animals, so we're able to kind of get them out into the community and make sure they get adopted. We do special events to raise awareness about the population issues that we have here and just education on some of the animal welfare issues that we have. We have a spay-neuter program. We have a volunteer program for the animals that are in the shelter currently. Kitty goes and visits schools to try to raise a new generation of animal lovers. So we wear a lot of different hats at the Humane Society, but our main goal is to make sure that the animals the ones that are in need are helped out in whatever way.
Yep.
Yeah, they need
Well,
it.
we recognized a long time ago that there was this strong bond between humans and animals. And so when you look at that, especially in times of crisis and disaster, some people will, go without food to help their pet or to feed their pet, especially our senior population. Some of them will, we've had domestic violence situations where a woman will refuse to go into shelter because she doesn't want to leave the pet behind. So when you think about that, that's pretty strong. I mean, look at what happened in Katrina. Literally, people were camped out on rooftops with their dog or cat because they didn't want to leave them. And so you know, that's a pretty strong bond. So we come alongside people to support them in that. We do have an assistance program for community pets. If someone has, you know, a need with a pet that's in their home, we can help assist them to get it treated or, you know, surgery or whatever is, you know, come up to just to allow them to keep the pet, and that way they don't have to give it up because of that strong bond.
We've talked with some food shelters that actually provide food for animals too, because sometimes people love their pets so much that they sacrifice and feed their animals and not feed themselves.
Absolutely.
So it's always good cause for that. So if we know of somebody that's mistreating an animal, we should probably contact you guys.
Well, and you know, we can definitely take the call, but we're going to refer them over to the shelter because they're their enforcement body.
Okay.
They
so-
have the legal rights, I
Authority,
guess,
yeah.
authority to actually go into the houses and check and make sure the welfare is, you know, the animal is taken care of. Whereas we're more supportive of if it's a situation where the people fell on hard times and they just need a helping hand to kind of get back into a good place. We would step in those situations. But if it's like there's cruelty or something like that going on, then that would be more of an animal control situation.
We're really blessed to have 5 animal control officers that work for the county of Peoria. So they're out, you know, in the trenches every day, you know, not only rescuing animals, but enforcing the law and making sure that everyone is safe. So I feel really, I'm really glad that we have that, because some communities just don't have that. They have a police department, but they really don't have time to kind of help out on the animal side of things.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I came up actually working at the shelter when I first started, and so I kind of saw that side of it, and I had no idea the volume of calls that they take every single day. Right. I mean, these men and women are out there trying to help dogs, you know, that are running loose on 74 and, you know, getting them safe, and cruelty situations, neglect situations, just all kinds of things that you see on TV on those animal rescue shows, and you know it makes for good TV, but that stuff is actually happening, and you know that's these people's jobs, and it's just amazing that we can help support them in that.
they're definitely the first responders, and sometimes, you know, our officers are getting the animal out of the situation, getting them to safety at the shelter, and then the animals sometimes do move on. They either get adopted or they go to another organization, but kind of people forget that, you know, the animal control officer was the first one to get that animal moved on, and so it's a big deal, and we try to support them, especially if an animal comes in that's kind of got some serious injuries or really needs immediate vet care. We're gonna, you know, Peoria Humane Society is going to pay for that and make sure the animal has what it needs, like Brittany said.
The best chance of adoption.
Absolutely. She's thinking about making a run for it. She spied something over there.
And
Check out
the
one of the
reflections
cameras,
in
yeah.
the glass too. Yeah.
Maybe the plant.
Not edible. Not at all.
Not on the safety list.
So volunteers, what do volunteers do for you guys?
We
What
have
do you need?
anything and everything. We have, you know, of course, dog walkers, cat socializers that come in and pet and play with the cats. You know, because some of them do come from not the best situation, so they need a little time before they're just thrown in with the family. And our volunteers are really good about making sure that they're, you know, used to being petted and held and loved, and that's not strange to them. And then we have, you know, office workers that help us file, and we have different volunteer groups. You know, if there's a business that wants to do a volunteer day, we have a lot of groups contact us. They'll come down and do things like clean out our shed. I know we've had the Rivermen before come down, and
That was a lot of fun. They were kind of cute. So I had a couple pictures with them, you know, and I didn't really want to be in the pictures, but anyway, yeah, and the trails outside. I mean, we actually have a nice little walking area, and so we have volunteers that kind of keep those trails clean and plant things and stuff like that. Special events, you know, we have Wine and Whiskers coming up,
yes.
so we definitely have volunteers that help us to pull it off. There's only 3 of us that work at the Humane Society, so we really rely on our volunteers. Now the shelter, of course, has, you know, more staff, but the volunteers are crucial to making things happen.
What would a volunteer do?
Well, so if they wanted to help directly with the animals, you know, hands-on, they could walk dogs, they could socialize cats. they can help with baths. We have volunteers that go out and help at some of our off-site adoption areas like Petco. So I know that volunteers go there daily, I think, and kind of help care for the cats. So that's a big deal. Now, if you don't want to be hands-on, Brittany mentioned, the office, the front office, they need help with filing. Special events, you're not going to probably have too much direct hands-on with the animals, but you're going to be helping us to carry off an event. I actually have volunteers that help with the education program, too. So we go out to the schools and do programs. And we have a camp in the summer, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's 5th grade through high school age. So I have a couple volunteers that help me with that. Pet therapy, if anybody's interested, I always put a plea out. We always need more people to help with that. But that's a little different. They're a volunteer for the Peoria Humane Society, but they're actually taking their own dog out to a facility. So these are dogs that have been evaluated and trained to go out and visit with people and offer encouragement. But always, always looking for people, especially during the day. It's perfect for a retired person that has a nice, friendly dog that likes to go out and be around people. So that is definitely something that I would love to see more.
How does someone volunteer? Do you have a website that they go to, forms they have to fill out?
We do, and we actually just got a brand new volunteer brochure. We're super excited about it. It looks great, but it's going to be out and about here soon.
You can get the information online on our website, and it breaks down all the different things that you can apply for as a volunteer. But mainly, just give us a call, shoot us an email, any of that, and
phone number?
We'll hook you up. You can call the 682-9015.
Okay.
And our website's peoriahs.org.
Okay.
And our Facebook page is facebook.com/Peoria Humane Society. So all of those are great ways to
reach out and help.
Yep.
Awesome. So what kind of fundraisers do you do?
Well, we've done Bark in the Park for 21 years now. I think this will be our 22nd year.
It is.
Wow.
And this... if you don't know what that is, first of all, where have you been?
Signs are everywhere.
Yeah, it's down at the Peoria Riverfront. It's a day for owners to bring down their dogs. First and foremost, a fundraiser to try to that's our biggest one for sure. But it's like a festival. You come, you bring your dog. We have a talent show. We have paw print painting. We have a whole bunch of different things you can do, and then this will be our 4th year for Wine and Whiskers. For years we've had Bark in the Park, and all of our cat people are saying, "Well, what are you doing for us?" So I started. I started 4 years ago, and this was kind of my first kickoff to being a part of the Humane Society because I'm a huge cat person. So Wine and Whiskers is geared more towards cats. Now, of course, we have the crossovers. If you're a dog lover, you can still come and have a good time. But this one's supposed to be geared more for cats. We don't have you bring your cat because, as most cat people know, that would not be fun.
Maybe for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be a little scary for those that aren't declawed.
It would not be good for anyone, cats included. So, we just ask you to come out and have a good time, and we'll tell you a little bit more about what we do, and you can have a good time doing it. So.
So are you thinking about something for those that have pet pigs?
Well,
I
don't
actually
think
like
that's too
pigs a
mainstream
lot, but I don't know.
my goodness.
We're kind of busy. I don't think that's going to really fit into our schedule at the moment.
Maybe down the road.
Right.
So something I hear about all the time is how many cats people have. What is the limit that someone is supposed to have in regards to cats?
Well, it depends on if you're in the city or the county. Peoria
Someone
County
in the city of Peoria.
So after 4 pets, you're supposed to have a multiple pet license. So that's dogs and
So that's
cats.
pets in general.
So, technically there's no limit. But if you have a certain amount, you do have to have a multiple pet license. And with that comes yearly inspections. And, you have to be able to take care of what you have. So that's the most important thing because the number is different for everybody. 5 cats for one person could be too much. But for another family, the cats are their lives. And
I've known a few people that one cat was too much.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
Just wouldn't take care of it or couldn't take care of it.
Yeah, and that'll happen. So as long as you're taking good care of them, there's technically no limit as long as you make sure that you're licensed. The city of Peoria is 4. Peoria Heights is actually after 2.
Okay,
And
I don't know.
Again, this is my shelter knowledge, so
So Peoria Heights is 2.
yeah.
And what's Peoria County then?
Well, see, that's the thing. Once you're outside of the city, if you're in the county, it's different. Like, as she mentioned, there's no limit, but
Oh, there's no limit.
but you always are going to be subject to being
licensed.
inspected or looked at if it becomes a problem.
So if you're in the county but outside the city, you can have any number that you want.
you really can.
yes, but
as long as-
well, there's no law that says you
for
what
what?
you can take care of. There's no number.
No, I know. I'm saying
Okay.
there's no number, but if there's a problem and you
Right.
get a call, someone reports
You're
you
gonna
as a
come-
cruelty case
sure.
situation, then they're going to come and look at you, and then they're going to decide what to
Okay.
do. But you're not limited. And then now, if you live outside of Peoria County, I mean, like now we're
I know. We live in Woodford County
Yeah.
now, and there's no.
yeah.
So it's
there's-
different.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
is.
So why I
everywhere.
wonder why Peoria has their number of just because from being in the city?
I
interesting.
personally, I
Or
think
the number
Peoria,
of issues that we've had.
possibly, but Peoria County has a really strong animal welfare program. They have had, Lauren Malmberg, she was the director for years, and, Bridget currently is, and they really, I feel like they just do such a good job with, enforcing the laws. And so,
And lobbying for stricter laws.
yeah, I mean, you step outside of
safety
Peoria
of
County,
animals.
and it's kind of a little bit scary sometimes in these smaller communities. But thankfully, along the way, they saw a need for protecting animals, and I think sometimes you have to back that up with an ordinance or a law, and you have to enforce
Okay.
it. And it's a good thing for the animals.
Okay, this is I'm setting you up for this one. Spay, neuter, and chip. For
Do you guys do the chip?
no, do you recommend it?
Oh.
So now you're just taking us in a whole other direction. He's trying to get us to, that's not controversial,
No,
though.
I would say absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely get chipped?
yeah.
Does
I
it
don't
hurt?
know.
Does it hurt them?
Well, it's part of an
I don't know, you-
adoption. When you adopt an animal from the shelter, it's actually required now by law in Illinois
Okay.
that animals are spayed, neutered, and microchipped. But for individual pet owners, yes, I'd say it's a good idea, and I would recommend it. But, am I going to say that you're a bad pet owner if you didn't get your
Right.
pet chipped? No,
Right.
I'm not going to say that. But it's nice when you adopt, because actually the adoption fee of $100 for dogs and $75 for cats includes that. So it's a good deal,
Yeah.
another reason to adopt from the shelter. But yeah, if you get a dog or cat from somewhere, I mean, yes, you should microchip it.
Yeah. Personal opinion, if you have a cat especially, I mean, the return to owner rate of cats is so low, and the microchips can make such a difference. That is the biggest guarantee that your cat will come home if they ever escape your house.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they have to get to a vet's office or they have to get to a
that
shelter.
was my next question going to be.
That's
So if
the
you find a
little-
pet, how do you even know whose owner it is? So you have to take it
You do.
to any veterinary clinic? You could
Yeah.
walk in and/or
Well, I mean, what we're going to suggest that you do, though, is report it to the shelter, bring it into the shelter, because if it's a stray, legally it's supposed to be kept for at least 3 days to give the owner a chance to reclaim it. So if
Okay.
somebody finds a dog or cat and then just keep it in their home and they don't tell anyone,
Oh.
that could be somebody's pet.
Well, sure.
So we want to get them in, and there's an opportunity if you found an animal for you to keep it at your house. You can have a found cat or dog at your house, but just make sure you get that microchip looked at, just make sure, have them scanned so that there isn't somebody out there waiting for it. I would be
no.
really upset if someone found one of my cats and then just kept it. It would be awful.
I was just more so curious as to where you can take a pet to get scanned because, a lot of times it's going to be in the middle of the night and you found an animal running in your neighborhood and you want to return them, but
yeah,
because you see all the found or seen on the
yeah.
Facebook and wherever else.
any vet's office should be able to do it. And, if you bring him into the shelter, they can scan him as well. Animal control officers have the scanners
really?
with them.
Okay.
So,
That's good to know.
yeah, I would say definitely call the shelter. not only can, you report the animal found and their microchip number there
Really
in
merging
case,
away.
because they're supposed to be the place that people call when their animal is lost. They keep a list of lost animals too. Anyone that comes in looking for an animal can report their animal missing. So if you call into the shelter, they can look through their list and say, oh yeah, I see here we have a tabby cat missing from that area, and they can put you in contact with, the possible owner. So they're definitely the best resource to go, but any vet will be able to scan for microchip as well.
I would just suggest people call. I mean, if they want to take it to their own vet, just give them a call and say, do you have a universal scanner that will scan for any type of microchip, and make sure that they're, able to take you in, because sometimes strays, they're not in the best of shape, and so you want to make sure the clinic is up for whatever you're bringing in. And safety first. I mean, if you find a stray and it's aggressive or it's really sick or it has, something wrong with it, absolutely call, in Peoria County, call the shelter, because the officers will pick them up and, get help for them, as opposed to you getting injured or bit or scratched along the way.
Awesome. We have just a little bit of time left. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
I think we want to cover the details of Wine and Whiskers. I mean, I know that it's
Awesome.
Timely. It's actually, coming up tomorrow. So I want Brittany to have an opportunity to kind of just give the details about when and where. And
Sure,
all
yeah. We do have some tickets left. We will be selling them at the door. You can still buy them online right now. Again, peoriahs.org. It's $50, and that includes unlimited wine tastings and spirit tastings. There's live music. There's hors d'oeuvres. We have an awesome silent auction that includes tickets, or park hopper passes to Walt Disney World.
Wow.
All kinds of local gift cards. I mean, there's something for everybody in this
really
this
is.
auction. We do a wine pull, which is where you pay $20 and you pick a cork out, and it corresponds to a number of a random bottle of wine. People always enjoy that. Let's see, what am I forgetting, Kitty? Oh yeah, our four-legged guests. Yeah. So last year we brought a kitten, and he got adopted at the event. He's going to come back and say hi and thank you to everyone.
Cool.
And we also have a mama and a baby kitten that will be there this year, looking for homes as well. So if you're a cat lover, we still have the furry friend there. So
Definitely.
we're hoping to find a home for them this year as well.
And we did do some paw print paintings, so those little precious kitty paw prints are going to be all over a canvas, and people can actually take those home with them, purchase them, and take them home. And, of course, good food. We're going to have lots of good food. It'll be a lot of fun.
And where's the event again?
It's at the Trailside Event Center, which is right above the new Treskers Bakery.
I've not been there yet.
It's a lovely space. We love it. Exposed brick, the old
Wood
floors and
beams. Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah.
And there will be cake from Treskers, too. So I just want to put that out there in case
Yes.
anybody really likes Treskers.
And what time do the doors open?
They open at 5.
Okay.
The event goes until 8. It's real casual. You can come in. If you can't stay the whole time, that's fine.
Okay.
We're doing big raffles this year. We have a wheelbarrow full of booze that we're raffling off, but you do have to be present to win that, because we don't want to roll that home. So that's going to be,
That sounds hard.
yeah.
Sounds like even dog lovers would have a lot of fun there.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We're getting a tail switch here from this little one. And of course, we want to put in a plug for her, too. She's at the shelter and needing a home. And I don't know if we can see her pretty
Still
little.
can't believe she's only a year.
I know, but she's so sweet. The staff love her and the volunteers love her. And she needs a home forever.
And what's her name again?
Prima.
Prima.
Yep. She's got pretty eyes. I don't know if we saw her eyes or not, but her eyes are
beautiful
beautiful.
color.
Match her,
Yeah.
her fur.
Whoop.
Yeah.
I'm going for a walk
She's on the
now.
run. She's like, I'm over
all
this,
right for me.
guys.
Most cats wouldn't have lasted this long.
I know.
No,
She's
really.
actually-
Especially
She's
for a
doing really good.
1-year-old.
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Great lap kitty for
there we
Thank you
go.
so much for bringing her. This has been great.
It's been a real good time.
Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Do you want to share the website one more time?
Sure. It's peoriahs.org is our website. Facebook page is facebook.com/Peoria Humane Society.
Awesome.
And we're talking with Brittany Barnes and Kitty Yanko of the Humane Society of Peoria.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts, Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together, they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
PeoriaLife.com.